Awesome morning, wonderful afternoon, and fantastic evening to those who may be listening or watching MindPlore tonight or in replay. Today, we're talking about communication again and the words we tell ourselves and the words we say to others. If we're not kind to ourselves, sometimes we end up being a little harsh and we end up believing that we are not good enough. And that's what this is all about, helping you realize that you need to be not only kind to others, but more importantly, kind to ourselves. Because when we are kind to ourselves, life seems to move forward easier. We get what we want. But if we think that we don't have something and we stay saying, I don't have this, I cannot get it, you're right. That's exactly what happens. Instead of saying, hey, this is what I want and I'm going to go after it. These are the words that we want to use. The more that we're positive, the more we're going to gain in the world. Having said that, I would like Shivali to introduce herself. By the way, today I have Shivali S. I don't know her last name. Never knew it. Victor Irving Jenkins. And Alma Summer, who is very new to MindPlore anyway. And we're going to get this conversation started. And I think I asked Shivali to start already. So, Shivali, I will be sharing out. I will join in. And I'm hoping that everyone is sharing out the MindPlore link from the MindPlore page, because that's where we are live for the moment only. Thank you. So on Facebook, we're also live on LinkedIn and YouTube. So you can find us at Gigglefest University on YouTube. Shivali, please.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I'm Shivali from India. I'm based in Delhi, in northern part of India, that is. I've been into coaching and training, and I've also been into holistic healing. I'm a holistic healer, and the title of this MindPlore program today, that is, the words they create magic. For me, words are very significant because they have the power, the energy to heal and to help. And I never knew about this so much, at least consciously, I was not aware till one fine day something happened in my life. And then, I underwent a particular training, and then I realized how important words are and how words can actually transform your world altogether. But that has to be done consciously. The awareness has to be there. So words play a very important role in all aspects.
So, can you give an example in your life where you have found that words bring you to where you want to be? Speak about it. Don't just say it, but make it a reality for people
I
to
remember,
understand.
yes, Carla, absolutely right. I can give many examples from my own life. When I was undergoing this training in clairvoyance, that is the power of the subconscious mind, this is way back in 2006. That was a time when I used to have a lot of cold and coughs. Like every third day, I would be having a lot of sinus issues, headaches, and all that. And then I was told that I need to first understand that what is the cause, what is the subconscious reason for these sniffles and coughs and colds that I have been having since childhood. So that awareness, when I came into the awareness, that firstly, what is the reason, and we all know today from Louis Hay and many other people who have written about it, that most of these things are psychosomatic. They are created by our own mind, and it's our inner reaction to the outer world. So, and then of course, I was made to do certain affirmations, which I did, and holding on to those affirmations and visualization also of new things, through dynamic meditation. And I think within a few days, this problem, so-called problem that I used to face since childhood, suddenly disappeared. So how did I do it? It's the magic of words. Definitely, words did play a big role. The affirmations that I had to do, they were based on this magic of words. And I think somewhere they click in our subconscious mind, replacing the old, what should I say, thoughts, old perceptions with new thoughts. And I think this is one area of my life where I really improved a lot. And likewise in other aspects also.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Victor, can you please introduce yourself and give your thoughts on this?
I am Victor Irving Jenkins. I'm in Sacramento, California. I spend many hours during the day doing deliveries, and I spend in many more hours during the day thinking and crafting this life that I live. I am totally committed to the idea of words being magical. So much so, I believe some of the truisms I've heard over the years, such as confession brings about possession. Things that you constantly say somehow turn into reality. A lot of my life I spent emotionally going up and down, up and down, up and down. And I actually, in the early stages of my marriage, spent a lot of time complaining, you see. It never occurred to me that by complaining and by speaking negative words, I was creating the life that I was living. Now, I find that I believe that about everything. Now, on the flip side, it may have impacted me in terms of being empathetic to the plight of others because you can tell how people are feeling by the words that's coming out of their mouth, by the words that they're constantly using. And sometimes they themselves don't realize that the words that they are saying is what's got them living the life that they're living. For instance, there are some words that many of us say all the time. How are you? Many people say, how are you? Don't they? And when people say, how are you? Many of us have a standard response. Oh, so. Not too bad. Yeah. And somewhere between then and now, I got the revelation that words were powerful enough that words that I say all the time needed to be changed. And that is when I developed the mantra. You see, no matter how I'm feeling, whether I'm feeling good or whether I'm feeling bad, I always have the same response when people ask me how I'm doing. And I always say, I'm better than I was and not as good as I'm going to be. Now that's quite a confession, isn't it? And you never say, "Oh, I don't feel so good," or "I'm feeling bad," or you never utter those negative confessions. So by being completely committed to the idea that words produce magic, I live it every day, every hour, and every time someone has the nerve to ask me how I'm doing. And it doesn't matter whether they know me well or not. In fact, people who know me well, they don't ask me how I'm doing because To them, it's laborious. It's laborious to hear me say that. Thanks for the opportunity, Carla.
You're very welcome. Let's talk a little more about the depth of this. It's not just talking about what you did very well. It's not just talking about what is right or wrong with me, but how we create the words, how we use the words that change our own world, our own creation. Alma, hi, you got a flavor of the show now.
I know I know why I'm accidentally here. This is so great.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm going to know in a few moments. But I still have no idea how you got
Okay.
it. But go on.
I'll introduce myself. My name is Alma. I live in northern Arizona, Snowflake. I'm building off-grid here, and I have a YouTube channel called Undocumented Human Project. I am the founding mother of the Jackalope Freedom Festival, which is going into its 11th year. It's free to camp, vend, and attend. And last year, my friend Brandon did a speech on exactly this topic about words and their magic. And some of the things that I have thought of from hearing you guys speak already is when we say good morning, we're mourning. The word mourning is a very sad thing. So saying good morning maybe should be shifted to good rising or something like that. Another thing that has come to my attention throughout the years through different various aspects of my life is the word grateful. And I've heard people relate that to great fall. And was there a great fall? And how is that related to us? And so every time we're saying we're grateful, we're saying great fall. And I don't know if maybe gratitude, I have gratitude towards this, thing is maybe a better way of putting it, because what I've learned through the English language specifically is spelling. We're taught in government school to spell, and spelling is what we do. So when we speak in English, we are creating spells. So it's very important what we say. I mean, I don't know if it was created like that so that we realize this one day, and maybe go back to a different form of words, of speaking, of language. And because of the fact that we all are now connected all over Earth, I think that we can really manifest a different environment for ourselves to truly prosper in. And that is definitely going to happen through the words we use.
Right. In fact, I'm looking up something now that I'm going to add about abracadabra. I want to give the real meaning instead of what I need to say. But abracadabra is really a spell to help us remember who we are. But when we say these words, the words become our reality and what we see in the world. Chevelle, what would you like to add to that?
It's the consciousness, like I'll just give you an example of India. In India, I don't know about parents abroad, but in India, parents are very protective about their children, unlike the Western society. Here, like they're so protective that if the child is even playing, and the mother is extra careful and says, "Oh, you'll fall." So then I say, "Do you want to create that? Do you want to create this that the child should fall?" The positiveness is missing in that. The mother thinks that she's being protective, But look at the words she's using. She says, "Oh, don't go there. You'll fall. You'll hurt yourself." Now these are all negative things. So we should replace this that he's absolutely fine just by creating that the vibration of positive words. So I can relate to this very easily, and gratitude thing which she has pointed out just now. My friend has pointed out. Yes, even writing, not just saying, writing, but it's about the feelings that you're expressing through your words. And once again, I would say the conscious effort has to be made, actually. One has to be aware, firstly. Most of us are not aware of it, actually. So when you are giving this example, it means that awareness is there. That the spelling, what is the spelling? It's the spell that we are creating or the words that we are using. And what Victor also said, I could easily relate to it. Like we are creating our own world through the very words that we are using. And there are many a times when my friends tell me, "Shivali, do you really want this? If you then say that which you want." So yes, words play a very significant role.
It's very interesting, and I only learned this recently in the past few years. The word abracadabra is a word also in Hebrew. And I'm going to read you what it says in the dictionary. Because if you go back and you look in the dictionary, you will see that when we speak words, we're creating that around us. An abra is an Aramaic equivalent of the Hebrew abra, meaning I will create. When a magician says abracadabra and brings out a rabbit out of the hat, he's supposedly creating that illusion. However, that is an illusion in that sense. It goes on to say, while cadabra is the Aramaic equivalent of the Hebrew cadabra, meaning as was spoken. Together, both the phrases mean I will recreate as has been spoken. So if I say to you, I want to create happiness, we created by saying that instead of saying, oh, I'm feeling really sad today. You create that sadness. You create that anger in your head if you use those words. But if we flip the words to say something a little different or to be a little softer, we create that too. I was talking to a friend last night, and this is a very true story. I was feeling extremely frustrated. I couldn't find anything good. And she said, well, what happened to you that was positive in the past 24 hours? And I told her, you know what? I went out to eat something because, I can't create that in my hotel room. And it's a restaurant that I like. And the restaurant literally, unbelievably, without my asking, gave me my dinner for free. I have no idea what made them decide to do it, but they did it. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. I had another wish that I would see someone very dear to me who was visiting from India. And even if it was only for a few seconds, I would be happy. I drove down to where this person was staying, knowing that I really didn't want to go in because there was a lot, people are coming up with COVID, but just seeing him at my car was fine. Well, guess what happened? I was driving around the block looking for parking, came back to where he was staying, and there he was. and he came to my car. Abracadabra. It's happening. Now, this friend made me look at certain things that were happening and certain things that I needed right away. And I said, I need to check my email because I was expecting some money. Abracadabra, the money showed up. Not sure how any of this happened when it happened, but it all happened. As I softened my thing, nothing is going right for me, to everything is happening for me. My life and my thoughts changed. And it changed in my world also. Victor, do you want to add something? Because I just spoke much longer than 2 minutes.
And your words changed. Your life changed, your attitude changed, and your words changed. If I was following the story, you said someone said to you, what has happened good in the last 24 hours? And what you just shared with us is what you shared with that person. Is that right?
Basically, yeah.
And after that, your conversation with that person was different, right?
Right.
Okay. So yeah, and it's a decision that you made. I think the critical thing for us to remember at this juncture is that words do nothing more than express our thoughts, right? And you know, I'm real big on this thought thing, but words is the thing that talks about what we are thinking. And when we speak unwholesome words, we are transmitting unwholesome thoughts. And many people believe that your thoughts control your world. So your thoughts result from your words results from your thoughts and vice versa. Because if you can't decide, if you can't make yourself think about something, because we all need to think about certain things at certain times, we can make ourselves speak about something. And when we speak, the word that we speak, our minds hear the word that we speak. So we can alter our thoughts really by altering our words. For instance, you've heard the old saying, someone tells you not to think about an elephant. Of course you're going to think about an elephant, so it works with all your words. I'm happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. Just imagine saying that all the time. Before you know it, money will start coming to you. It's just, and it seems simple to me because I've been practicing it so long, but I do want to tell you, I wasn't always in this this frame of mind. I wasn't always pleasant to be around on a consistent basis until I discovered that magic of words. There truly is magic in words. Now, your thoughts will sometimes run rapid and try to get you to get off your wonderful track that you're on. Happened to me once yesterday, I went, oh, no, you don't. I'm right here. I rock. So you might as well quit thinking about that because it's not true. And the more you do that, the less you have to do it.
Yes, Victor, I can understand this because words create mental pictures actually. Words, the moment you say elephant, or if I say a pink elephant, it's creating a mental image, it's creating a mental picture, right? If I say it's a pink elephant with a red tail, now it creates a mental picture. So words actually create a mental picture. In the moment you say abundance, it is creating a certain image in your mind. So you start attracting more of that. This is what I understand.
Oh, of course, you understand it, and you can demonstrate it in your life. You can tell stories about it. You can do it, of course. I was just looking at a man. His name popped up into my mind because I listened to motivational tapes and listened to books over and over and over, and I never really tried to remember this guy's name, but I've heard his name so much that it was easy for me to extract from my mind. Shad Helmstetter. He wrote a book entitled What Do You Say When You Talk to Yourself? See, everybody doesn't know. Instead of trying to teach people all these highfalutin skills and getting all elaborate in your presentation, if we could just help people understand that talking to yourself determines how you are and the way that you are, the way that you see yourself, your self image, your mind is strong enough to attract those things to you that you think you deserve, that you think that you want. You speak it, you think it, you say it, and then it manifests. If we teach people to do that, then outcomes that we don't want won't show up. It's been so long since I had an unworkable outcome. I'm tempted to think I'll never have another one.
Yes. Yes, those are affirmations actually. Earlier you had mentioned about, that abundance, the miracles of abundance in one's life. Say multiple, I am abundant, I am prosperous. So you are creating that world for yourself, and that's why you attract more of that.
And you attract it in your mind. People don't realize that we really are vibrations more than this little body. Our body, or a body that we don't necessarily perceive, is a lot bigger than this body. We are encapsulated in this soul, in this body as a soul. But we go much further. And we're all connected by the breath we breathe. So what do you think happens when we close our eyes and we just breathe? Alma, because you're back.
Well, breathing is very important. I have definitely realized in my life that there have been times where even other people have told me, I can take a breath. You need to breathe. I think it's important to remind each other if we see somebody who, might need to take a breath, just to remind them that they can take a breath too, or take a breath with them, including children. I have 3 children. So, I've gone through toddler stage, and I have another one that's going to be going through toddler stage, and definitely important to help them go through like those moments. Because I have this theory that the terrible twos is coming to terms with being a corporeal being. So maybe at once you could go through walls and things like that. You came to earth and now you have a body and you can't do that anymore. And so you're trying to express how angry you are about that by throwing and running. And I'm just teasing, but the toddler stage to me is like an important stage to teach human beings just to take a breath when they need to just calm down and think about their situation. And as my son is 7, and as he gets older, I continue to talk to him about situational awareness and being able to see what other people are going through in the same environment as him, so that he can live his best life in those situations that may be more challenging than others. That's pretty much it for that.
How many children? You said you had 3 children. How old are they?
I have a boy 7, girl 4, and another boy almost 1.
Okay. And that was the child that was born pretty recently. I think you had him when I interviewed you about a year ago.
Yeah, his birthday is May 23rd, so he's going to be 1 soon.
Wow. Now, talking about that and talking about children, what do you tell your children when they say, oh, I'm disappointed, I feel stupid because of something that happened at school, or that person was mean to me, what should I do, Mom? How do you handle these things?
So I actually unschool my children. I do not follow any kind of government curriculum whatsoever. They learn based off of what they're interested in. So my son is 7 and he's now learning to read, and he's doing a very amazing job because he's so inspired to do it. He has access to the internet, and so he watches video games and he watches video game shows, and he wants to be able to interact with these people and communicate with them. And so that's teaching him how to read, and he sounds everything out. And he's, like, I read at 3, my stepdad created these books for me and read them to me all of the time. So I learned how to read very early on. And I think in 2nd grade, I read over 200 books. And so I don't know, like, I just decided to do things differently with my children, and I facilitate a learning environment for them as they become interested in certain subjects.
So in other words, do you let your kids think something negative, or do you help them move to a more positive way of thinking?
Yeah, I definitely encourage them to be more positive. They're very close in age, all of them. So there is some bickering and infighting. But we live on a big parcel of land, and in a tiny house. So when things get like negative or too much, or their frequency is too much energy inside the house for as much as going on, I'm like, that I try to get them outside, and that's seems to be much healthier for them when they get into those negative environments in their minds or with each other, and they can come outside and they can build things here and grow things here and learn about all sorts of insects and animals and things like that. So we have a very hands-on, like, learning environment.
Wonderful. Victor, what are you thinking?
I'm just curious, just off topic a minute. You mentioned Brandon a moment ago. I don't suppose that's Brandon Tatum, is it?
No. He actually has an organite business out of Sedona, and he attends Jackalope every year. And he spoke about words in his speech last year at Jackalope. And he gave the speech multiple times. One of the words that I recall him bringing up is shalom, because it has a bunch of different meanings in it, as well as prosperity. And so that one's become a really important one in my personal life. And he made all these stickers so that, people could put them on their vehicles or whatever they want, so that they're seeing these certain words all of the time that are positive words that bring positive things into your life.
And that's very interesting, because I'll come back to you for one moment, Victor, because I used to be very fluent in Hebrew many years ago, but shalom means hello, peace, and peace for two of its meanings. And we don't use, it's such a beautiful word. And yet we don't use it because we think, oh, it just means hello. But it also means peace. And I'm going to get some more meanings while Victor is talking. Victor, what did you want to say?
You were talking about words and children. I am committed to this point of view that our subconscious mind is really running our lives. We think that we are doing things consciously, but in point of fact, it's the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind comes into being from the time that your child is conceived. So while a woman is walking around with the baby in her womb, the things that she is saying is impacting the subconscious mind of the baby. And so when the child is born and they start experiencing life for themselves and developing their conscious mind, if the words that they're hearing are different from the words that they heard when they were a fetus, then there's a bit of a disconnect as time goes on. And when you get old enough to consciously make decisions on your own, some of the subconscious stuff you can negate by saying what you're saying, but you get to a point where your life is a little confusing, and I'm talking about me from experience, and you don't understand why things are not going the way that they are. And I believe that a lot of that results from the words that you were exposed to before you were born. Now, I don't have any children myself to experiment on or to validate this on, but you do, right? Right, Alma, you do have children. So, would it make any sense to you that while you were carrying your children, the words that you were saying and the words that you were using what was impacting them and has impacted them since their birth?
Well, I mean, I think Neo's the oldest, so I would say that he would be the one that I could even guess any of that has impacted him from. And I believe he had a really good womb in experience environment. My daughter was 3 years later, and I know what was going on in my relationships as well with their father, and so there's that could even have an impact on them, but even more so. And with Nateo, I don't know yet exactly, he's so young, but he's a very happy baby, and my daughter was a really happy baby too. They both been called happy babies like a lot. That's what I hear the most. I kind of lost my train of thought for a minute, but I think that, their environment in general is really important. And I know that, I don't know, it seems to me that the last couple of years, there's been a pretty big transition for a lot of people, maybe going through difficult times more so than others. I don't really know. In my personal life, I could say that definitely is so. And I know that my children have seen me, go through some challenging times, but they've also seen me go through those challenging times and come out in a better situation. And I think that's what's important for them to learn, is that when things do get challenging or don't seem like they're as positive as they could be, that we just continue doing our best to make them, be the most positive that they can be for us, so we can have the outcomes that we want in our lives.
I don't know what the incubation period is, but I believe that what we are experiencing now, right this moment, is resulting from the words that we spoke some time ago. And when you come into the knowledge of the power of words and the magic of words, your life is not going to change immediately, but you will start using different words, start saying different things, and down the road you'll see some changes. But I don't know what the period of gestation is for the use of words. But I can tell you that the life I live now is far superior than the life that I lived years ago. And the words that I use now are way different from the words I used to use in the past.
I have one more thought that I remembered. I have sort of noticed over the last few years that I do think that when you're born has something to do with your personality type. And there's so much information about that, like the time and when and the date and things like that. But I do believe we live on some sort of a clock of sorts, and that when the stars and the sun and the moon are in certain positions when you're born, that has something to do with your soul. So I'm not any kind of expert at that information, but I do sort of have the feeling that there are personality types that come out of times when people are born. So like my daughter is a Leo, and she looks like a lion, and she is like feisty like a lion, and I've noticed other Leos also look like lions. It's very interesting to me. So I just, there's things like this that relate in my life anyway that I've noticed about individuals. So I don't know.
I'm a Leo. So you should not be surprised by my presentation. You should not be surprised by how I'm talking, and particularly since you have a daughter who's a Leo.
Yeah. My son is a Libra, and I was raised by a Libra, so they're constantly weighing the scales. They really do. They go back and forth, and sometimes cannot make up their minds. It's so funny to now be raising a Libra after being raised by one. So it's like, wow, this is how my mom thinks.
Now, the ultimate is, despite how powerful words are, belief in the power of words is more powerful than the words itself, because what you believe really determines how everything shows up in your life. Because if you believe that words are magic and words are powerful, then you're going to use words in a magical, powerful way. And if you don't believe that, then you're going to be living below your potential, because you're not going to be using words in a powerful way. So despite the benefit of words and the power of words, I use words to help people understand that belief is what determines the course of your life. And it's simpler if you line up your belief with your actions. So if you believe words are powerful, then articulate yourself in a manner that you think, give words the power that they deserve. Treat them with respect. Don't speak any idle words, and be impeccable with your words. And I can't be preaching anymore, because I always say in jest, if I keep preaching, I'm going to have to take up an offering. And well, nobody wants to give me any money.
Yes, Victor, I can relate to this, what you said a little earlier. In India, of course, we have this tradition of the pregnant woman. Now she is constantly reminded, to hear good music, read good books, to be joyful, and even in the house, immediate family, the surroundings, the environment that is created for her is a happy one. At least it's made, a conscious effort is made. So, as you said rightly, that everything is happening while we are still in the womb, the subconscious mind that we are having. And I think it's not just coming from our present life. I strongly believe in past lives also. So, that is coming from a past also. Like, for example, if a person, feels, that he or she is not abundant, that poverty consciousness, as I would put it. So why is it poverty consciousness is there? Why not the consciousness being very abundant? Now that could be possible. Possibly one reason is that while the child was still in the mother's womb, what was the environment of that house? What was the words that was spoken in that house? What was the situation of that family? The child is subconsciously imbibing that entire thing right from the fetal state. So when the child is born, it comes out. Now that has to be replaced, so a conscious effort has to be made to change things. And there are many people I know who, in spite of the whatever the situations in their lives, they have changed their lives completely, transformed completely, because they believe that yes, they can make things happen. I've seen this in my own life, Victor. I can actually relate to what you said just now. True, it's very true.
I can feel you. I'm tempted to send you an offering. This is you preaching, girl. You preaching.
Yes, yes. I understand.
And that kind of passion, if we can spread that around, man, there's so many things that's spreading around the world right now that's really not empowering, not enhancing anybody's life. But what we're talking about today, what you just got done talking about, if we could just put that in the head, and everybody wouldn't be the same, but it'd be like everybody has this tool, and this tool will get you whatever it is that you want, right? And so everyone gets a tool as opposed to not getting a tool, and the world would be a much better place. And I know people in my life tell me they want to make the world a better place, and they do this to make the world a better. Make yourself a better human being. That's the first step to making the world a better place. Don't try to make me a better human being. Make yourself a better human being.
Yes, individual consciousness leads to collective consciousness. If each one takes that, that step, definitely the world transforms itself. And I think this voice has to grow stronger. I strongly agree with you that we need to voice this. The voice of positivity should be more strong, rather than, get submerged by these externals that we see happening around us. So I think this voice has to become stronger, and it will begin with the individual.
I don't love people because they love me. I love you because that's what I do. That is
Absolutely.
what I do. And you can't stop me. I would not allow you to stop me.
Yes, yes, absolutely. The power of love. That is why these words, love, abundance, prosperous, uh, abundance, awesomeness. Why do we have such potential words? You know, uh, there's a reason behind it. So we just need to just say it more, and automatically the vibes change. As Carla pointed out a little earlier, that we are, most of the time we remain in our bodily consciousness, that I am Shivali, I'm a female, I'm from India. We have to go beyond that. That I'm energy, I'm a vibrating energy, and I can relate to others as soul. Like Victor is a soul for me. So I make better connection with them when I think of Victor as a soul, or Alma as a soul, or Carla as a soul. And you see the magic? There is love. There is only the language of love.
I'm sorry I have to leave, Carla. Please forgive me. The time has gotten away from me. And
Can
I
I
don't like to
have,
leave suddenly.
can I have you for 5 minutes while we close the show?
Maybe, okay, I'll shut up. Yeah, do it.
Okay, let's close the show and then you can leave and it'll be easier. We'll close the show a little earlier. Words have magic, words have meaning. And if we begin to realize that, we can create the world we want around us. Stop thinking of the negative. Think of what makes you happy. And when you begin to make yourself happy and allow those happiness vibes to move into your life, you'll find more happiness around you, more happiness as a part of your own world. Victor, I know that you need to leave. So do you want to say your final words now? And then I'll let you go and I'll finish with the ladies.
Right. Alma has helped me realize more than I have in the past about the importance of children. And every now and then I lament the fact that I didn't have any because I think what I am and who I am could go on for eons. So having children and being able to share with them and being able to speak into their life, I think that that's a very critical place for a human being to be. That may in fact be the reason that human beings are alive.
Okay.
Thank you for having me. I must run.
Okay. Thank you for sharing your last words for this
Okay.
show. And you may leave. Alma, what would you like to say?
Okay, well, I'll just leave you with this thought. My last child I had completely unassisted. Well, I've just the father and my mother there and a virtual midwife. And one of the things she said to me while I was giving birth was, there's 36,000 other women giving birth at the same time as you. And that was so powerful to me to know that that many other women are going through the same moment. Sorry,
Yes.
that just meant a lot. Sorry.
Don't go anywhere. Stay around. But that's the whole point, that it's not just us. And if there are 30 million people, I don't know if that's true or not.
36,000 other women having a baby at the same time as you. Probably more than that on Earth, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point. And we are all connected. And when you were having that baby, I'm wondering if you were focusing on your breath. And by doing that, it helped you relax. But the breath itself is common to everyone in the world. So you begin connecting with everyone. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. Your breath is really important. My first two births, my body, I felt like I was transferred to the hospital by my midwives too soon. My body takes longer to open basically than what they give you the time allotted. And so I had found out about evening primrose, and it helps dilate your cervix. Some women take this for weeks before birth. Me, I took one pill and later went into labor that afternoon. And I knew with this baby, just to think about my body opening really was the most important thing I continued to think. I thought about it my whole pregnancy because I wanted to have a natural birth so badly. And so I thought about that, and, definitely breathing keeps you in that mindset because you have to stay focused and in that thought process to manifest it for yourself. So it's definitely important to, to just stay there, to stay steady and breathe. Yeah. And I had the birth I wanted to. So
wonderful. Shivali, what are
Yes,
your last thoughts?
yes. This breath thing that you're speaking about, it helps to center yourself,
Right.
and it helps to balance your energy, and it's just that the words are different. People talk in terms of breath, and I think we shouldn't underestimate it, because when you are breathing, you are consciously breathing. Normally what happens, we are breathing, okay, we are breathing, but are we living? That consciousness is where you become aware of your breath, you center yourself, you balance your energies, and then the magic begins. So I think we as mothers can relate to it very nicely. For those who have undergone childbirth, they can understand, when they ask you, okay, watch your breath, breathe in, breathe out. What are they doing? It's another way of saying center yourself, focus, and then the magic happens. As you said, opening up. Yes.
But keep in mind, it's not really but I'm using that word. Keep in mind, it is the breath that is the essence of all our lives. It's the
it's what
breath that keeps us alive. The moment we stop breathing, we are no longer on this planet. And yet we disappear into that cosmic consciousness that is survived through the breath. So if we take that breath and give it that full attention, then we are allowing us all to connect. And we don't connect in the words, we're connecting in the consciousness that lies beyond all this physical experience that we allow to happen. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes. We are all interconnected. That is why we say we are all interconnected.
Yeah, my last thought on that is that the ether or the air, whatever you want to call it, that we all breathe, it touches every single one of us at the same time. We're all connected through it.
Yes.
And when we stop believing that our physical reality is all that we are, then we begin to blossom and we begin to allow the world to open up to us. Does that make sense, ladies?
Yes. 100%.
Okay, having said that, I think we're going to end the show now. I want to thank Shivali, Alma, and Victor, who is now gone, for being a part of this conversation. I'm realizing there is more to life than what we see. Abraham Hicks talks about that all the time. But if you want to go even further and listen to the gurus or listen to those who say, talk about the truth, you'll find it all connects together. All religions are basically saying the same thing. But because of the realities that they have created within themselves, that wholeness may be forgotten, but it really is the reality of our world and of our life. And having said that, we are going to wave goodbye and see what comes next week. And have a great day, peeps.
Thank you, Carla.
Thanks, Carla.
MindPlore may or may not be back on Tuesday, but we probably will have a show on Thursday. We shall see. And with that, I wave goodbye. Have a good day.